We're back at the table with this week's Line Opinion panelists. The Rio Grande Sun in Espanola is known for producing some hard-hitting news about local politics and government up there. Last weekend, there was an attempted arson attack at the paper's offices. The managing editors and the owner said it wouldn't slow them down. And Rob, I mean, you know, you're a journalist. You know, nobody wants to be attacked for the work that they do. Nobody. But there's a line to these things. I'm curious what you feel like the resolve would be from, you know, I wish we had one of those guys sitting here, but they've been at this for a long time. They've had threats for a long time. A little bit of arson, as they say, is not going to hold these guys down. It's amazing.
Yeah, God bless the Trapp family out they're out doing the Rio Grande Sun. I've gone after and covered a few stories out in Riba County. Right. These guys are bare knuckles. Yeah. And one of the things that I found really heartening after this story about the arson came out, that I think it was just yesterday, that they had their new weekly edition of the Rio Grande Sun, and Mr. Trapp had his had an editorial, and he said, the arson will only make our reporters at the Rio Grande Sun work harder.
There's the answer.
So,
exactly right.
3 cheers for him.
Exactly right. The public sees these kind of things. Again, there's a revulsion. You know, it's a society of honor and laws. You can't be firebombing people you disagree with. So, but we need to have some restitution here. I would think somebody needs to be arrested, and so the public knows.
Well, they said they had a video camera that recorded everything, and he was sort of typically sort of subtle and understated, Bob Trapp, about that, but. You know, it really has been a small town newspaper, as well as an investigative newspaper that has sports coverage. It has a community orientation, and it's also been a training ground for a lot of New Mexico's best reporters who have gone there, and the Trapp family has sort of mentored them. And you know, it's just a great American story that was told in that movie by Ben Dates called The Sun Never Sets, and I really recommend that movie.
I haven't seen it. I want to see that.
It's a great movie.
A lot of folks don't know you have reporting in your background. That's part of your history. You've been around this block.
This was narrated by Bob Edwards from NPR. It's a great movie, and it shows all the scandals they've uncovered, as well as just the kind of routine, daily, community-oriented rag that they are.
I love it. I love it. You know, there's a Chicago mayor famously said, never let a controversy go without, you know, leveraging it later, and Mr. Trapp obviously knows how to leverage this. Do you feel something almost like more warm towards the Rio Grande Sun when these kind of things happen and they just come right out and say, no, not good enough, guys, we're still doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. You know? I mean, it definitely humanizes them a lot more. I mean, it's been a controversial paper for a long time. There's I think, arguments on both sides. I think for me, one of the frustrating things about it, about that community in particular, having been involved in statewide politics and understand that Rio Riba is its own special place in the state.
That's right.
And for a lot of good and a lot of strange things come out of Rio Riba County.
Right.
But I do think that it's frustrating because so many people are so entrenched in that community, and it really isn't a lot of people moving in and out of that place. People who grow up there often stay there for generations, and then it becomes this us versus them mentality where you just don't have a lot of community trust built up among the paper and people who've lived there for a long time. So I do think there's two sides to it, but I never think that violence or anything like, property damage is the answer, and I do hope that they're able to find who did it and bring them to justice.
Exactly right. Merritt, the idea that you can intimidate somebody of this stroke is interesting to me. I mean, these guys were up against Tommy Rodella for years. You know what I mean? They didn't flinch there, and look what happened there. But in the overall sense, in the idea where the Fourth Estate sort of functions here in New Mexico, to me, would you agree that these guys are sort of setting a trail for everybody else, even though they're the smallest paper that we're talking about here? You know what I mean? They're sort of leading the charge here in a way.
Absolutely. I don't think New Mexico in Depth, New Mexico Political Report, I don't think any of these independent blogs could exist without that mindset. And the fact that they're still doing it in print, because that's probably more relevant to their population. The fact that they went to print this week, that's phenomenal, and that says everything we want to hear about freedom of the press and the need to know, and the public's right to know. When I think about newspapers being cracked down upon or firebombed, I'm thinking Syria or Moscow, not Espanola.
Interesting. Kind of widen the lens here a little bit, Rob. But traditionally, I would say journalists are not exactly the most, well, we're trusted, but you know what I mean? There's a thing there.
Yeah.
And sometimes situations like this can open people's eyes to how hard this job actually really is. That you have to get up every day and face a lot of dragons to get a paper out the next morning. You know what I'm saying? It's
that sort of comes with the territory, though. I mean, my background was in sports, and when I was a TV sports anchor, I learned very quickly that you don't want to get into a spitting match with a coach or a player, because 90% of the time the people are going to sympathize with the player and the coach.
That's right. That's right.
So the best thing you can do is keep your head down, stick to the facts, and as long as you've got your fact-based opinion, then you've got a couple of strong legs to stand on.
There you go. Join us online to hear more from this week's panelists as we take them on the clock. Thanks for joining us today. We always appreciate your time and your effort to stay informed and engaged. I'm Gene Grant. We'll see you next week in Focus.